Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Will coming at you with another video, and I was just thinking, it's been about a year since I purchased my 2009 BMW 335i, and I just thought it'd be a good time to go ahead and make a video, just talking about what kind of car has it been? Has it been a good car to own? Have I been hit with the notorious 335i unreliability, N54 problems? I want to do something else, which is to kind of fix this mess that's going on over here. So it's unorganized, there's cleaning supplies, there's tools, it's just thrown up there really haphazardly, and that's because I did this when I moved in. I bought this shelf from Home Depot, and well, it wasn't enough, so I bought another one. So I got another one right here. I'm going to set it up in a second, and it's smaller than this one. It's 4 shelves and they're not as big. I'm going to put them together in this corner, I think, and make an L shape. I don't really know exactly what I'm going to do, but so I'm going to go ahead and get into this, start reorganizing these tools, and once I've got a good setup going here, we're going to talk about just what kind of car the 335i has been. So. Stuff that I had on that shelf. I mean, that's downpipes, jack stands, bunch of toolboxes, bunch of cleaning supplies. Alright, so that there is going to be my shelf for cleaning supplies. So these are cheap shelves. I mean, this was like 20 bucks at Home Depot, but I mean, for putting some cleaning supplies on, it's just fine. The other one, about twice as much, about 40, 45 bucks at Home Depot, and it's pretty secure. I mean, you can put some weight on that thing. And I mean, you don't need any tools, you just, snap this together. It's pretty good. I mean, if you need some really heavy duty stuff, this isn't for you, but for a home garage, you just need to get some vertical space. These things are fine. They're pretty good. Alright, so I've got everything done up now. So from there, I've got tricycle, the little creeper for under the car. So in there, most of like my sockets and extensions and screwdrivers, things like that. And this one, I have some kind of odd tools like tire pressure gauges, some more screwdrivers, and then the bottom drawers are just microfibers. So that's where I keep all my microfibers for washing the car, cleaning the inside. Now on the new shelf, the short one, top, I've got more like household stuff, but then all cleaning supplies in there. All the stuff in the bucket is for interior cleaning. All the stuff to the left is exterior cleaning. And then the stuff down there, wheel cleaners and the stuff to clean the filters with. And I got this Armor All shop vac. Now I was really skeptical of it, but it had really good reviews. I actually haven't used it yet. It's just sitting there. I'm going to use it shortly, and I'll be sure to include that in a video. I won't make a video about it because it's just kind of probably not worth it, but I'll be sure to include it in a video, my thoughts on it and everything. And this, I have all the basically hex bolts, so Torx, E-Torx, hex bolts, all of that, they go in that tool there. Then up here I have one that has standard and one that has metric. And then up here, oil changing stuff, battery charger, up there, old diverter valves, the downpipes, and the drain for the oil, as well as the box that my Lux LED angel lights came in. I just have the original bulbs in there, just in case I ever do need them. So let's talk about the reliability of the 335i. Oh yeah, and go ahead and hit that subscribe, because I know a lot of you are watching without subscribing, so just do me a favor, hit that subscribe, it really helps me out. So as I said, it's going to be about a year of ownership. It will be exactly a year of ownership next week for my 2009 BMW 335i. Now the N54 is known for being one of the most unreliable cars BMW has ever made. A first generation of modern BMW turbocharging, first turbocharged car they made in a long time. So that's kind of why it's got reliability problems. So I mean, I have a video just kind of going on about all the things that are known to break on these cars. So if you want to check that out, I'll go ahead and leave a card for that. So yeah, go ahead and click that if you're interested. So, what have I had to do? So when I bought this car, it was, you know, it was in alright shape. It had 90,000 miles. Anyway, yeah, body was in good condition, no accidents, anything like that. So anyway, I went ahead and it had a leaky oil filter housing, valve cover was leaking, needed new spark plugs and coils. But it had a lot of other maintenance done recently, such as the water pump. I can't remember off the top of my head all, but it had a lot of stuff done. It had fairly new turbos, just things like that that are expensive. So when I got it, first thing I did, or maybe not the first thing, but I got the oil filter housing gasket replaced, replaced the valve cover, the spark plugs and coils, replaced all the vacuum lines even though there weren't any problems. I just didn't want to have any issues. Replaced the charge pipe with a VRSF aluminum charge pipe because of the charge pipes being known to crack. So I just went ahead and knocked out a whole swath of stuff that I knew was issues. I bought vacuum lines. I can't remember what it cost, but it was like, $25 maybe for all of them. I bought them from Ferocious Motorsports, their silicone vacuum lines. So I went ahead and did that. I replaced the boost solenoids. I think that might have run about maybe $100 for both boost solenoids. But once again, these are things that didn't actually need to be replaced. I replaced them because I knew that this was going to happen and I didn't want to have issues like that. So I just went ahead and hit known issues. So as far as things that actually needed to be done, the oil filter housing gasket, and that had to be done pretty much immediately. At the same time, I had a walnut blasting done. I think that ran about $400 for that. Valve cover, so this is something that was a pain, is the valve cover had to be replaced. So I replaced the valve cover and the valve cover gasket. Now, my mechanic recommended doing both at the same time because valve covers, they'll warp and stuff because they're made out of plastic and they may not go back on right. They might crack when you put them back on. And the fact that it was old, it probably was bound to crack soon anyway. So he recommended doing that. So between all of that, that was about $400 for the valve cover, and I think I did about half of it before I got through it and couldn't really finish it. So he came and fixed it for basically half price because I did half the work. So that was like $700, right? So when I bought this car, I basically dumped about $1,500 into it. I also replaced the dual cone intakes that it had. The only modification this car had when I bought it was that it had BMS dual cone intakes on it. So I replaced them. I didn't even bother to clean them. I just wanted to, start fresh. So, like I said, I dumped about $1,500 into the car pretty much as soon as I got it. Now, whether it really needed all of that, that's another debate. But we could say between the oil filter housing gasket and the valve cover, it was pretty much $1,000 worth of work the car needed immediately. I also had to replace the front brakes. Now that's more or less on the dealership that sold it to me. They sold me, the brake pads were fine, but the rotors had a pretty gnarly lip on them. So I had to do that, but you have that with any car, so I'm not really going to count that. That just stuff like that just happens. The back ones, they sold me with brand new. They replaced those when the dealership had it, so I don't know why they didn't bother with the fronts, considering most of a car's stopping power comes from the front brakes, but it is what it is, Other than that, I haven't had any real issues with the car. I did have to replace the DTML pump. I think that was about a $70 part, something like that. Install time was very, very quick, very easy. I think it's a pretty common problem on these cars because it's made out of plastic and it sits right next to the exhaust, which gets very hot. So yeah, the thing about this car that really got me is that I had to replace the valve cover again. So at about 20,000 miles in, I got a crack on it right where the PCV system and the valve cover are kind of glued together. So they come as one component and they're plastic and they're glued to each other, and pretty sure the heat causes to crack. So if you're concerned about your car running hot and you don't have the money or the time or whatever to upgrade an oil cooler, get a bigger radiator or what have you, one thing you can do is use MHD to tune it to a sport cool or a track cool mode. And I have a video on doing that, so if you want to check that out, go ahead and click that card right there, wherever it is, somewhere up there. And you can learn how to reprogram the car to have the electric water pump work at a higher level. Now the side effect of that is that possibly you get more reliability issues because of that. But guys, so all in all, I really haven't had any issues in a year. It's not been that bad besides the valve cover and just some basic maintenance. And like I said at the beginning, having to do the walnut blast, having to do the oil filter housing gasket and the valve cover. And with the N54, you're just going to be going through spark plugs like crazy, so you better do it yourself, and you better use FC Piero's lifetime guarantee, because it's going to save you a ton of money when you're going through spark plugs and coils every 20,000 miles or so, or maybe even less. So I did it at about 18,000 miles or so, and that's how I discovered that my valve cover had cracked, because of all the oil all over everything. After a year of ownership, what do I think? I'm pretty happy with it. I'm going to keep it. I plan to at least drive it another year. So anyway, yeah, so BMW 335 N54, it hasn't been a nightmare. It's been great. Anyway, if you found this video informative, please leave it a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.